Hello everybody, the Kentucky Patriot here. Got my buddy out here in the woods with me today, and we brought that MKA 1919 that my friend let me borrow, 12 gauge, and we're going to try it out today. And I mentioned in the comments from the last video about maybe some folks giving me some ideas of what to shoot or what to actually do with this shotgun to test it out. We've been shooting it, but you know, I've already shot water jugs with buckshot and birdshot and slugs. You've seen that before. But Paul Harrell left an idea in the comments about seeing how it patterns with the different loads, and I thought that was a really good idea. So what we've got in this box today, this is going to be my point of aim right here, and I'm going to try it with the, I switched the gas ring out, and got a guy here trying to come and steal the show, my best buddy. But anyway, we're going to try to, I did switch those gas rings out for the heavier loads now, but I have noticed with the scope, I don't know if it's where it's the heavier loads now, where we're shooting, like I said, 3-inch magnums and turkey loads and buckshot and slugs now. But the point of aim, you have to, or the, you know, sight dialed in, you have to kind of keep messing with it because it will lose its zero. And I've noticed that after every 2 or 3 or 4 shots, you'll have to reach up there and tighten them screws. I guess it's from the recoil being much greater than that was with, you know, last time I was just using, when I was up here just trying it out, I was just using the, you know, the low brass, the target loads. But now that I went to the heavier loads, like I said, I did have to notice the scope. If it was mine, I would use the iron sights, but a lot of people like these scopes, but that is something to keep an eye on, is the, and just because it, you know, it's pretty well zeroed on the first shot, if you take it out and shoot it 25 more times, your zero may go up or down or left or right, so just kind of keep an eye on it. But this is going to be my point of aim, and it's an MKA 1919 12 gauge shotgun. Great setup. I really have enjoyed getting to shoot it. Appreciate my buddy letting me borrow it, and let's get to shooting. All right, you see the distance here. I'm going to shoot first with a slug, then double aught buck, and then a 3-inch Magnum turkey load. Like I said, I believe it's number 6 shot, and we're going to pattern, see how it works here. Let's try it out. Failure. That's the 3-inch Magnum. We're going to try it again with this 3-inch Magnum. We had a failure to feed. So let's make sure it's on safe. Let's try it again. Let's see what we got here. Looks like we were coming in a little bit low. I believe that's just the wadding. But this was the slug, and you can see the pattern of the buckshot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 9. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it looks like it's a pretty good pattern. The shots was a little bit low, but that could just be to the scope because, like I said, the shot was here, the buckshot was here, the bird shot patterned here. So it looks like it's patterning pretty well. So I'm not sure. Like I said, we sighted this in several times, and we'll get it close, and it seems like it's doing pretty good. And then then by the time I film the video again, it seems like it's off a little bit again. And I don't think it's the gun. I think it's just the zeroing in the scope, and I don't know if it's because of the violent recoil for this scope onto this system, because my wife's the camera woman, and I showed her after every few little shots, we've got to keep tightening these up, and I think it's, and I'm not trying to make excuses for my shots not being where I had meant for them to go, but its pattern looks like it's pretty good. So like I said, you may have to change the scope out. This is probably more for an AR, I would say, a lighter recoil scope. Red dot, this is a true glow, so I'm not sure, but like I said, if this was mine, I'm not trying to be redundant, but that's why I like iron sights on something with heavy recoil, especially something you're going to shoot rapidly. And we're still having some feeding issues out of these magazines, regardless of the 10 round or the 5 round. I went back to these 5 round, thought they'd be more reliable, but we're having feeding issues too. So I'm not sure if the gun needs to be broke in more or if it's the magazines. I'm really not sure, but as you see in the video, we did have a failure, and that was with a 3-inch Magnum. Now today I've not had any failures other than the 3-inch Magnum, and I think that has to do, the other day I thought it might have just been the low recoil, you know, not having enough power and gas to, even though it's using the small gas rings, having enough to blow the bolt back and get another round in there. Well, today that seemed to be the case. When I was shooting slugs or buckshot, we never had one failure, never had one problem of any kind until I shot that 3-inch Magnum. We've had a couple on the 3-inch, so this thing may just not like 3-inch and low brass light loads, even with the small ring in. So if I was going to use this gun, especially for home defense, I would probably only use the buckshot or slugs with a big gas ring, something that keeps this, has plenty of power. I would stay away from the 3-inch Magnum. Like I said, it may get more reliable as you break it in more, but we've been shooting and we have had some failures. So I may try to sight it in a little again, and we'll try to see if we can get a little more accurate with this. We're going to try this again, the same drill, different box. Now this has got a paper plastic tape strip that's purple. I'm not actually aiming for that. I'm going to actually aim for that black dot that was the same size as that dot on the other box. So this here is same drills before, the slug, the buckshot, and then the 3-inch turkey loads. All right, you ain't in this, so get out of here. All right, ready? Well, it fed that time, but if you look down range, you'll see what happened to my target. It plumb twisted sideways, but it fed all 3 rounds just fine, including the 3-inch turkey load. And I wanted to see it's on safe, so I'm not walking down range. It's on safe. There is one in the chamber. It did feed the 3-inch Magnum just fine, but I've got it on safe. You can see, I know there's always I'm not trying to be rude, but I know there's always the safety ninja that's going to say I was pointing this at my toe. This gun is not pointing at my toe. Now right here, the exact same thing has happened before. It's low on the buckshot and the slug. It's the windage left and right is fine, still high-low a little bit, and we can adjust it. But even after shooting 2 rounds, I had to tighten both of these screws up. I can feel it with my fingers when I grab it and turn it. I did have to tighten it back up. So like I said, that's an issue you may have to look into. But here again is the 3-inch turkey loads. Let's finish this box off. I take that back. I thought it fed, it didn't. The bolt was forward, but it didn't even chamber the round. It was still in the magazine. So again, another failure to feed with the turkey loads, the 3-inch Magnums. Now let's try it. Let's go down range and see what happened. Still low. Pattern's great, just still low, still low. You can see the slug and the buckshot just a little bit low on the point of aim. Not much, but yeah, I know I said I was going to sight the gun in and not shoot any water bottles today, but the 12-year-old kid in me just couldn't come up here with a gun like this, with all these slugs, with all this buckshot, and at least not blow up something. So like I said, I think the pattern's fine with this gun. As far as you hunting or home defense, the gun itself, the pattern's fine. The scope, probably have to tinker with it, or maybe just get it another scope, or resort back to iron sights would be my probably pick. But here we are. Like I said, I'm just going to stagger them. I think it's a slug first. Let me see. Double lot buck first, slug, double lot buck, slug. I changed out to a 10-round magazine, so it's alternated. Like I said, buckshot, double lot, slug, 10 rounds of fun and carnage. So like you can see, it's on safe. And put it on fire. Let's see how this thing goes. I'm gonna shoot the little jug over there on the side first, then go for the big ones. Actually, little jug of Gatorade, red jug of Gatorade, then we'll go from there. Ready? Failure to feed. Put it back on safe. Another failure to feed. Now, I hadn't had any failures to feed so far with the high-powered buckshot or slugs, just the 3-inch. But here we got a failure. It's stuck in the magazine. And I can't do it with one hand, so I'm gonna have to pause the camera here. All right, we got the malfunction fixed, and it was the slug, so I'm gonna charge the handle here. And it's on safe, as you can see. We'll put it on fire, finish it off, and we'll see how it happens. Now I'm not gonna run the gun as fast as I possibly can. I'm gonna run it as fast as I feel like I can acquire my sights. Another failure to feed. This is on the buckshot. As you can see, I didn't have any malfunctions with the 5-round magazine. With the 10-round magazine, you can see, and with the 3-inch magnums, we've had some issues today on the range with it. Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. We're back from the range. Just had a beautiful fall evening, beautiful fall day. The temperatures are wonderful. Leaves are starting to change color. Had some leaves on the ground. Just so thankful to have an opportunity to be out and to review and test and try out the MKA 1919 match 12-gauge shotgun that my buddy was gracious enough to let me borrow. And he told me before he gave it to me, he said, I want you to be honest. He said, it's not going to hurt my feelings. He said, I want you to review it, and give an honest opinion, which we'll try our very best to do. But when you take an AR platform and a 12-gauge shotgun and combine them, it's just a great idea. It's just a barrel of fun. We've had so much enjoyment out of shooting it. We took it apart and cleaned it. We've already mentioned we changed the gas rings. One thing I'll say is we had several malfunctions with the small gas rings, and I honestly thought even with the smaller gas ring, what would happen was just the low brass light target loads wasn't enough to work the action. So when we went to the range today and I changed out the gas rings, we started using the buckshot, the 3-inch magnums, the slugs, and it seemed to work better. But we still end up having several malfunctions, both with the 10-round and the 5-round magazines. And maybe that'll work itself out over time as the gun breaks in, because it is a barrel of fun. If you ever get a chance to shoot one, shoot one. It's a lot of fun, and then it holds a whole lot of capacity. You take 10 rounds, 10-round magazine plus 1 inch, that's 11 rounds of buckshot or slug or some of your high-powered 3-inch magnum rounds. That's slinging a lot of lead, and for home defense, that is just a tremendous amount of firepower. But my honest opinion is, my honest review, and like I said, I'm not saying you can't tweak the gun, you can't maybe work with some magazines, you can't maybe get it to run more reliably, but as it stands right now, I thought that would make a wonderful home defense shotgun. But I'll be honest with you, I think unless we can get some bugs worked out and have it running more reliably, maybe, like I said, it will, maybe after it's broke in a little more, but I think you're better off for home defense to sacrifice a few rounds and just run you a Mossberg. If I was going for a shotgun, and like I said, I'm not saying that I don't like this gun, that I didn't have a blast with it. If you're just going to use it for a range gun or even for a hunting gun, I think if you got one in the chamber on a turkey load and you at least get one shot off, and it may run reliably, but that would be up to you. But if you're hunting with it and you have a malfunction, failure to feed, failure to eject, it's not the end of the world. You may think it is when you miss that turkey or miss that deer or whatever, don't get a second shot, but it's really not the end of the world. You're probably not going to starve. I'm sure that's not your only source of food, but for home defense, it could be. And my ultimate thought for that gun was either a range gun, just a range toy like we did today, to just shoot stuff, which was a lot of fun, or for home defense. Not that you can't hunt with it, as we said when we reviewed it, but to me, I don't care. If you're talking home defense, concealed carry, there's a lot of things you like on a gun. There's features you like, there's calibers you may like, but the number one thing to me, bar none, is reliability. And it has to be reliable, not just reliable some of the time or part of the time or most of the time. You need something that you're going to depend your life on. And I would not feel comfortable defending my home and my life with the reliability issues we had. with it. And like I said, it wasn't just the 5 round, it wasn't just the 10 round, it wasn't just the light loads, it wasn't just the turkey loads. It ended up being even with the buckshot and slugs. So, you know, like I said, maybe you can tweak it, maybe you can fool with it a little bit and do this or that. But overall, I love the gun, but depending my life on it, I don't think it was as reliable. Now, I was at a local gun store today, a good friend of mine, just a great guy I think the world of, and he was showing me, he's got one that's an AK style, and the charging handle's on the opposite side, really nice setup, kind of the same thing in mine, just AR 12 gauge combined. This was the AK 12 gauge combined. Now, I didn't take it out today, obviously I didn't shoot it, and so, but I don't know if it's any more reliable, that I don't know. Maybe I can get it off of him one day, maybe do a range review on it and see how it compares with the AR style. But I was there today, and I was going to try to buy some buckshot besides the double aught. Double aught is probably what I would say most people is familiar with. But there's a lot of other buckshots load too. There's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, triple aught buck, single aught buck. There's all these different kinds of buckshot. And I was going to actually try to go to the range and do some ballistic testing with that and see the different ballistic loads. But he didn't have any. All he had was double aught buck, and that's probably your most common. I was kind of wanting to try to do a video with it, but to make a long story short, people can disagree with it, and that's okay. But if you're using buckshot for hunting, then that's totally different. But I'm talking about if you're just using buckshot for home defense, I don't think there's really any difference. And I'll tell you what I mean, because I know as soon as I say that, people will say, "What do you mean there's no difference?" But what I'm saying is, whether you get shot by number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1, double aught, triple aught, the ballistics, the knockdown powers we've talked about, the lethality is there. So to be honest with you, whether you're running number 4 buckshot or triple aught buckshot in your shotgun, it is totally capable of neutralizing a threat, absolutely, positively. So any buckshot you use is going to neutralize a threat, okay? Again, we're not talking 200 yards, we're talking close quarters home defense. Then I've heard people say, well, this one penetrates less or penetrates more. If penetration is an issue on double aught buck, then you shouldn't use buckshot, period, in my opinion. So I wouldn't think, well, you know, triple aught buck or double aught buck's going to penetrate through all these walls, but if I use a number 3 buck, it's not going to penetrate. My family will be fine. If you've got penetration issues with any of them, you know, with close quarters, rooms, or whatever, you shouldn't be firing that direction, period, is what I'm saying. Or if you've got really close neighbors, or like an apartment or something, you're afraid of over penetration of a certain round of buckshot, then the other buckshot's not going to me, make that much difference. You ought to just skip buckshot altogether and go with another option, maybe birdshot or something. What I'm telling you is, if you're running buckshot in your shotgun for home defense, you're going to be fine as far as protection. And again, don't think that a certain buckshot round will penetrate, another one won't. Never take chances with a firearm. So don't buy one because you think this is going to penetrate less. If penetration is an issue and your loved one's on the other side of that wall, don't be firing that direction with any round, not even birdshot, okay? Know the layout of your house, knows who's around you. As we said in other videos, you are responsible for every round that you fire, so never take chances with a firearm. Buckshot is any of those choices that I said will serve you well. And I was wanting to have some, like I said, for a video to shoot different things, and I was really wanting to do a little more at the range today. And even the last round there, I had 10 rounds in there, and it had 2 malfunctions. The last 2 I just brought back. But I do want to show you this real quick. This is actually what happened to one of the turkey loads. This is the Super X from Winchester 3-inch Magnum, and I'm not sure how you can see that, but you see what it done to this round when it failed to feed. And it did the double aught buck too, but I don't know if you can tell it much from the video or the camera, it'll show it. But this one you can definitely see an indentation there. And this was the other one that jammed. And I know somebody probably say, oh, it's all right to go ahead and fire. Not me. Anytime there's a deformity like that, you're better off just to toss them. I'm not going to try it, not going to risk it. But again, thank you so much for allowing me to review your gun, to shoot your gun, to borrow your gun. I've had it for probably a month now or more, and he told me to keep it as long as I wanted, put it through its paces. I'm going to take it apart again and clean it for him and give it back to him as clean and neat as I can. Overall, if you have a chance to get one of these, or if you're at the range, or you got a chance to take this out, you'll love it. It's a lot of fun. But again, my 2 cents, the reliability, until we can get that worked out, me personally, I wouldn't want it for home defense, because as that Kelly says from Armed and Featherman, it's your life, protect it. I'm not sure, again, that with those kind of issues, what I'm saying is you can't have failures consistently and then feel like, to me, that you can depend on that with your life to protect you and your family in an event that when you really need it. And we understand that anything mechanically can fail. All guns have the chance, but when you have if you shoot 10,000 rounds and have a failure, that's one thing. But if you start having failures out of a 10-round magazine, a 5-round magazine, a 10-round magazine, a 5-round magazine, to me, we got to get those bugs worked out before I would consider using that for home defense. But as far as buckshot slugs, I think both of those are excellent choices for home defense. Over penetration, just watch it as you would with any round, and even birdshot. Now, when I say birdshot is a capable round for home defense, I don't mean the light load, low brass, number 8 shot, nothing like that. But I'm talking about the high brass number 5 or turkey loads or something. They'll serve you well. They don't have the foot-pounds and the energy and the knockdown. We understand as a 1-ounce ball moving 1,600 feet a second, or a double-lock buck. We understand that. But I would feel totally safe with number 5, number 4, something like that, a high brass load or a turkey load defending my family. But we don't give legal advice. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're just trying to tell you what we think, our opinions, our views, what we've seen, what we've heard. But you make the decision for yourself. You go to the range. You look at ballistics. You study. You've got to ultimately make these choices for yourself, because everybody lives somewhere different. Everybody's neighbors are different distances away. Everybody's house is laid out different. You may live in an apartment. You may live in a trailer court. You may live way out in the middle of nowhere where there's nobody within a mile of you. And then, of course, over penetration wouldn't be an issue. But still, even though your neighbors may live far away, always consider who's in your house, who's upstairs, who's downstairs, where are your kids' bedrooms, where are those you love. Because, again, in the heat of the moment, somebody's breaking into your house, you've got to make decisions and make them really fast. And we want you to make good, sound decisions. We want to keep you and your family safe. Again, thank you so much for watching. We always appreciate the thumbs up button. If you like and share on Facebook, it really means a lot to us. Just word of mouth. May God bless you. The Kentucky Patriot, signing off.